Tennessee Titans as his next team to quarterback. Let me save you the click. They are basing this on the fact that Aaron Rodgers is building a house in Franklin, Tennessee. Now, I get why they'd make the link there, but they also cite the Tennessee radio host as the source who says Aaron Rodgers is open to the idea of joining the Titans. I'm also open to the idea of having a three-way with my wife and John Hamm. I mean Jennifer Lawrence. But it doesn't mean it's happening. Now, a sports radio host saying an athlete is open to an idea is as reliable as Bill Belichick texting the correct Brian. P.S. Please stop texting me accidentally, Bill. Signed, Brian Cranston. Again, I can't stress this enough. Until Aaron Rodgers comes out and says what he wants to do not believe anything, especially from local radio hosts. He controls his narrative, and unlike the people around Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any people around him or family to leak info. He will announce his plans on the Pat McAfee show. Now, would Rodgers be a good fit for the Titans? Yeah, he'd be a good fit for the fucking Jaguars if that's what he wanted. He makes every team better, except maybe the Bills. Shout out Josh Allen. The reason this is very unlikely is because Ryan Tannehill is set to make $38 million this season, $29 million guaranteed, and if they cut him, they'd eat $57 million in dead cap. Even if they trade Tannehill, it still would count for close to $30 million of cap space. And Tennessee is currently over the cap already by $6.5 million. Now, for this to work, the Packers would need to be interested in trading for Ryan Tannehill, but there's no way the Packers are going to bring in another expensive quarterback when the biggest benefit by getting rid of Rodgers, in addition to the draft picks, is clearing Rodgers' money off of their horrible cap situation. So a third team would probably have to be interested in making the trade for Ryan Tannehill. Plus, I'm not sure the Packers need another quarterback who's great at helping his team lose in the playoffs. I'm not sure Aaron Rodgers would be patient enough to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry 30 times a game anyway. And Tennessee, with the 26th pick in the draft, and no second rounder right now, doesn't have the cap on the trade. Remember, the team trading for Rodgers has to offer something appealing to the Packers. That said, this tweet by Packers wide receiver Alan Lazard might mean an Aaron Rodgers announcement will be coming soon. Or that Alan Lazard is just a big fan of safety while driving. Alright, the big story. The 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo are currently working together to find a trade partner for the QB who is one win away from going to his second Super Bowl in 3 years. Now, it may sound like a unique situation, but the 49ers were here before with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. And with Trey Lance in the batter's box, nobody thinks this is the wrong move for San Francisco, and nobody also thinks Jimmy G is a bad QB. I think most people just believe we have seen Jimmy G's ceiling and that Trey Lance can easily replace Jimmy G's 20 touchdowns and 12 picks in the regular season with a much greater probability of statistical success in addition to winning. Trey Lance got an entire season to marinate behind Jimmy G's beautiful, beautiful body. Now he's ready to become the filet mignon leading the 49ers offense. In his second start with San Francisco, Lance completed nearly 70% of his passes through 2 TDs, had 1 pick, and finished with a passer rating of 116 and 31 rushing yards. Yes, it was against the Texans, but I think he's ready to take the reins, even if it's a bit bumpy for a while. And actually, the Texans' defense wasn't bad down the stretch. Unlike Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, we know it makes sense for the 49ers to trade Garoppolo. And unlike those guys, Jimmy G would actually prefer to stay with his current team. If you listen to the way he talks about being there, and the way Kyle Shanahan talked about Jimmy G, and what Jimmy G's teammates say about him, he is a good fit in the 49ers locker room. The issue, Garoppolo simply isn't a top-flight QB. He will never put up crazy numbers. He will never carry the team over the hump. That said, he's tough as hell, played through a shoulder injury more effectively than Baker Mayfield, and an incredibly painful thumb injury. He will give his offense everything he has, and that does motivate the players around him. The pressure of the playoffs increased some of his mistakes, but there was a solid stretch this season where Jimmy G was the main reason the 49ers were getting dubs. So let's break down 3 solid potential trade partners for Jimmy G and the 49ers. Now, Garoppolo needs to go to a good football organization like the Niners, but where he can also actually be an upgrade at the QB spot. Plus, he has demanded that the 49ers trade him to a winning organization, and I think that's fair. First of all, I think he'd be a great fit in Pittsburgh, who is currently banking on Mason Rudolph as their successor to Big Ben. The Steelers would go from one of the least charming quarterbacks in the league to perhaps the sexiest man alive. Mike Tomlin may not like not being the sexiest man in Pittsburgh, but I think this makes a lot of sense. Jimmy G would be a good way to hedge their bets if they can't land their hometown guy Kenny Pickett in the draft, while still giving them the freedom to draft another QB as a possible successor. The Steelers could tank with Mason Rudolph, but Stephen Ross basically ruined tanking for the entire NFL by trying to bribe Brian Flores. Like Alex Smith before him, it's a good thing when the 49ers draft a QB that's far more athletic behind their current QB and then trade that QB. So I'd love to see Garoppolo in Pittsburgh, assuming they can upgrade their offensive line. Garoppolo had one of the best in the league, and he'd be trading that for what was one of the worst. Another good spot for Jimmy G might be Carolina, who had to cycle through Sam Darnold, P.J. Walker, and Cam Newton last season. Garoppolo would bring a lot of steady play for a team that went in the tank when their QB play fell off a cliff. I will admit it would be dangerous pairing up Jimmy GQ with a running back who's posed for GQ. Oh, he posed very provocatively. Although the Panthers are apparently listening to trade offers for Run CMC, I think for Jimmy G to succeed there, he must have a healthy McCaffrey. Finally, Garoppolo would make a lot of sense, ironically, in Tampa Bay, where he would finally become the successor to Tom Brady, which he was drafted to do back in 2014. Tampa lost Tom, kind of unexpectedly, and they're left with Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask, who's never taken a snap in the NFL, and the 27th overall pick, which is a hard place to land your future QB. I'd argue the Buccaneers have an even better offensive line than the 49ers, and that Mike Evans has made every quarterback he's ever played with look great. After I saw this Russell Wilson Buccaneers jersey swap, I knew Bucs fans didn't deserve Russ. Russ looks more uncomfortable than if Bruce Arians told him he had to let Antonio Brown live with him as a condition of playing for Tampa. If you don't take the time to do the jersey swaps correctly, you don't get the QB. Now, the Buccaneers defense is locked down for the foreseeable future. There's a chance they lose Chris Godwin to free agency and that Gronk retires or goes somewhere else. And we know AB is not going back. But they can draft for a wide receiver or make a play in free agency, as they have about $18 million in cap space to play with. Maybe more when Brady comes off the books. I don't know. And I'm sure they can get San Francisco to pay part of Jimmy G's salary, if necessary. Garoppolo could be the best QB in the NFC South if he goes there, assuming the Falcons will never figure it out again with Matt Ryan. It's also worth noting that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't going to be the plan A for any of these teams, but the quarterback carousel is also a game of musical chairs, and someone always gets left standing. And I think Jimmy G can help all of those teams win games while they are finding their next QB. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Don't forget, Sunday during the Pro Bowl, we'll be doing our Alzheimer's charity stream. Please come check it out. And if you got a little cash, prepare to donate. Watch another video if you want right now.
Un propio tequila, con las dos cafeterías te devolvemos el dinero. Mercado Libre.
Gentlemen, Bill Belichick trying to text Brian Dable. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. I can't believe Bill Belichick will finally end racism in the NFL tournament. The man most famous for loving small, tiny, white wide receivers got the NFL sued for racist hiring practices because he accidentally texted Brian Flores instead of Brian Dable, who was recently hired by the New York Giants as their next head coach. Not only is Flores suing the Giants, he's suing the Dolphins, the my Denver Broncos, and the entire league. Now, the details of the class action lawsuit are available to read online. I suggest you do it. There's a lot there. What I will do here today is present to you my 5-point action plan to end racism in the NFL, finally, and also I will show you why Tom Brady is actually the man responsible, at least partially responsible, for Brian Flores suing the NFL. That is not me trying to tease you with fake Tom Brady slander. He's actually involved in this situation, and I think it's a bit bizarre that he retired on the same day Flores dropped this lawsuit. Well, let's dive in. All today on That's Good Sports. Hey, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, especially if you want to see me solve all of the most complex problems in the world. Also, huge announcement. During the Pro Bowl, I'll be doing a stream here on this channel, so please come check it out, because during the stream, we'll be raising money for the Alzheimer's Association.
Porfa.
The goal is to get to 20,000 raised. We already have over 6,000. And if I hit the 20,000, I will shave a monkey beard into my face live. Live on the show, I will look like this if we hit the 20K goal. We'll have some guests joining me along the way, so come hang out. This lawsuit was announced on the same day Tom Brady retired, and as crazy as it sounds, I think this upstaged Tom Brady's retirement, and the fact that Bill Belichick is involved makes it all the more wrong. Essentially, Brian Flores is trying to expose that the Rooney Rule is a sham, and that it's humiliating for black coaches to be interviewed for jobs they have no chance at getting. And to those who say, I can't relate to this sham interview process, let me take you back to 2006. I interviewed to be a male model for Macy's Big and Tall collection. I may have been 5'8" on the chart, but I was 6'4" in my fucking heart. Okay, so maybe I wasn't qualified, but Brian Flores certainly is. Now, if you didn't know, the Rooney Rule was implemented in 2003 as a way to make sure NFL teams interview black head coaching candidates. It's always been a bit of a controversial subject because many believe NFL teams don't take all of the candidates they interview seriously, and now we have proof. Bill Belichick inadvertently got the NFL sued because texted the wrong Brian. Belichick meant to text Brian Davis, who was also a former assistant of his in New England. When Belichick texted Flores had an interview with the Giants today. Here's me reading the exchange between Belichick and Flores. Sounds like you've landed. Congrats. That's my voice. Belichick. Did you hear something I didn't hear? Giants? I interview on Thursday. I think I have a shot at it. Got him. I hear from Buffalo and that you want their guy. That's definitely what I want. I hope you're right, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian Davis? Just making sure. Sorry, I fucked up. I double-checked and I misread the text. I think they are naming Dable. Sorry about that. And to that text exchange, I say good luck, Brian Flores. Good luck proving that's really Belichick being super liberal with those exclamation points. That motherfucker barely smiled after winning a Super Bowl. Tossed Tom Brady aside like a hot pile of garbage. So forgive me for not believing he texts like an excited 13-year-old girl. Although maybe Mac Jones really did change him. But the fact that Belichick knew Dable had the job before Flores got a chance to interview should be a strong argument that he was only brought in as a technicality to satisfy the Rooney Rule. He has a legit grievance here, but it's not surprising that new Giants GM Joe Shane would eventually hire another former Bill in Brian Dable. Let's backtrack a minute, though, because the real crime is that Flores is even having to interview for jobs in the first place. Brian Flores Miami Dolphins about a month ago. I say surprising because from the outside looking in, it appeared that Flores was doing a pretty damn good job coaching the team. Adam Gase very
Le dije
mediocre.
coca sin azúcar.
Flores led the Dolphins to their first back-to-back winning
Ah, ya me
season
acordé.
since
Es que te había dicho aguas minerales primero
the Rooney
y
Rule
después
was
lo de los
first
cocos.
implemented.
Pero eran agua minerales y cocas, ¿no?
Ah, no, más
Tried to spin it in a way that made
Pero hay agua
Flores
mineral.
look bad by saying he was an
Ah, no, no,
impossible
no.
person to
Cuando-
work
ya
with.
después tú.
Turns out they were actually pissed off he was too good at coaching and that he refused to